Welcome back, my students, to another episode of Comic Class. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be looking at Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Fujitoid arc, which spans from issues 4 to issue 7. And yeah, this arc is really interesting. It actually introduces us to the villains of the Triceratons, which are one of the main iconic villains from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. And yeah, so without further ado, let's jump right into the story. Let's go. So our story pretty much starts off with the Ninja Turtles doing an exercise run on the rooftops of New York City. And this is where, while they're battling the Foot, they see a building with the TCRI logo. And for those that don't remember, the TCRI logo basically was on the canister that made the Ninja Turtles and Splinter into what they are today, these giant mutated animals. And yeah, so this is actually big reveal in the series, because this means we're going to learn more about their backstory, and considering this is like the third story arc, pretty impressive, or I think it's the second story arc. So yeah, so they definitely want to check out that building. So we get to see that they go back home to go, rest up, because they had just done a battle with the Foot, and it probably wouldn't be a smart idea to go into an unknown place that could be crawling with enemies without resting first. So they talk to April and tell her about what exactly is happening with the TCRI building, and that their connection to it has to be something big. So the Ninja Turtles pretty much rest up, and on the next day they head into the building. They sneak into the building and pretty much find that everything seems to be normal on the inside. Then they keep investigating, and eventually they find out that Master Splinter has put this type of futuristic tech, keeping him in suspended animation. Now the Ultrons, I think it's what they're called, they pretty much come in and they basically try to seize the Ninja Turtles, because they're trying to mess with Splinter while he's in that type of suspended animation. So we'll learn more about why he's in there at the very end of the arc, but I'm going to leave that for later. So what happens is that a battle ensues between the Ultrons and the Ninja Turtles, and we get a lot of cool action here, good panels showing off their different abilities going up against the Ultrons and how they fare against them. Of course, you have to keep in mind the Ultrons are not trying to kill the Ninja Turtles, and that they put their guns to stun. But still, so the battle rages on, and eventually Donatello accidentally hits the some type of machinery that teleports the Ninja Turtles into some sort of space planet. So yeah, so this leads us to the part of the arc where we get introduced to the Fujitoid. Now the Fujitoid is called Professor Honeycutt, or Dr. Honeycutt, and he's basically an android with a human mind that used to be human, basically. So the Fujitoid basically saves Ninja Turtles from being attacked by the Federation, and basically shows them, his hideout, and gets them out of this sticky situation. Because Ninja Turtles are willing to fight their way out of that situation, but the Fujitoid tells them to get out of the way and not go up against these guys. This is just going to cause more trouble. So we get to see that the Fujitoid shows Ninja Turtles that they're actually in this like futuristic type planet that's controlled by the Federation. And yeah, they one of them says they're certainly not in Brooklyn and not in Manhattan either. This doesn't even look like Earth anymore. And they definitely aren't on Earth. They're on some faraway planet. This is where we get to learn from Fujitoid basically what I said earlier. We get his whole backstory about how he used to be a human working for the Federation, at least for his boss, and he was transferred in his consciousness into the robot when a freak accident with a lightning storm hit him and the robot at the same time, kind of like fusing them together, because he had like some type of helmet that let him control the robot. It's pretty a pretty basic story that we've seen in science fiction, but yeah, it works here. This is where we get to see the enemies of this arc, which are the Federation Force and the Republic, basically, with the Triceratons, which are some of the most iconic villains in Ninja Turtle history. And yeah, they're really cool. So we learn that these two factions are at war with each other, and that they want to use Honeycutt's technology, and that he knows how to make a transporter to transport the turtles back home, but they want to use this transporter for war purposes, so they're each trying to get the Fujitoid on their side and capture him and force him to work for them, basically. So we get to see that the Ninja Turtles and the Fujitoid basically go to some bar to try to learn where they can get some technology and stuff like that. And this is where the Triceratons arrive, as well as the Federation force, and a huge battle ensues between them to capture the Fujitoid. And Ninja Turtles are really out of their class here because these people are packing heat. And not only regular guns, but we're talking about like futuristic tech, as they're on a different planet. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So we get a battle between all of them, like a gunfight, and Honeycutt actually gets taken by the Triceratons. They achieve getting him, basically. So they're taking him away. Now the Ninja Turtles basically are able to board an alien craft and kind of like ride it and control it. At least Donatello is able to figure it out. And yeah, they get chased by these Triceratons and these like jetpack like machinery, and they basically have to fight their way out. But eventually they get tagged and basically fall to the ground into the forest. Now while they're trying to see if they're alright, we get to see some character from Donatello kind of showing that even he has his limits in keeping his calm, and that he really feels like they're never going to get back home, considering how hard it is, to capture Honeycutt, not even knowing where he's at. And then Raphael kind of like snaps him out of it and tells them that he's going to go on no matter what. He's not going to give up, even if Donatello decides he wants to give up. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that. And after this, we get to see that the Triceratons basically are fighting the Federation force right next to where the Ninja Turtles actually landed, which is a little convenient. I'm not going to lie, it is convenient. But after this, we get to see that the Ninja Turtles actually board the Triceraton ship where Honeycutt is being contained. They got very lucky in that sense. And basically, they make their way in. So the Triceratons basically make their escape from the Federation force and basically head off into space to head to their space station. And this is where we're revealed to the Ninja Turtles realizing that they're in space. And because at first they had felt like some type of rumble and they didn't think that it was an explosion. It turns out it was actually the engine of the spacecraft going off and taking off into space. And they figure this out whenever the air starts running out in the area that they had actually gone to and hid. So it looks like this could be the end for them. So we get to see right after a few pages, you see that the Triceratons actually found the Ninja Turtles and gave them some type of air supply to be able to survive in space, because they want to see what these turtles are capable of. They want to study them basically. And Honeycutt basically told them to keep them alive or he wouldn't help them create the transporter. So they're kind of using these the turtles as bargaining chips as well for Honeycutt. So basically they put the Ninja Turtles into these type of handcuffs, these futuristic handcuffs, and basically send them into this cell. And it's pretty cool. We also get to see little panels of April as well, seeing what she's doing and how she's handling the Ninja Turtles' disappearance for about 2 days, which isn't very well, but she does have faith that they'll be okay. This is where we go back to the main plot, where we can see that the Ninja Turtles are basically sent into some type of coliseum that pits like foreigners / prisoners against like the native planets, like animals and creatures, and even Triceratons themselves, like war battled hardened Triceratons. And yeah, this we're shown that the Ninja Turtles are going to do a 4-on-4 battle, 1-on-1 basically, or free-for-all against some Triceraton battle warriors. And yeah, we get to see that the Ninja Turtles are equipped with some type of breathing machinery to be able to help them breathe. But they are definitely at a disadvantage against, the Triceratons in this battle. Despite that, all of them get battle ready, they get their weapons out, and they head to battle against the Triceratons with the desire to win. And this is where we get a huge battle scene. We're talking about maybe 5 or 6 pages of just pure action, showing each Ninja Turtle fighting against their other, basically, their opponent. And it's cool. Each one really does a good job. Get some major hits in with some of the Triceratons. I think my favorite turtle when it comes to, these action battles has to be Michelangelo. Michelangelo really goes in And he really doesn't even drop any jokes while he's fighting these Triceratons, showing how big of a threat this actually is. You know, there is no joking around in this moment. They're fighting for their lives on this planet, and I really think that was a good way that they handled it. Now, basically, Leonardo had a good idea to kind of like attack the announcer and get on his battleship that he was announcing on and use that for him and his brothers to escape, which Michelangelo helps Leonardo get up there and helps this plan come into fruition. Now, after they're able to capture Honeycut back from the Triceratons, they actually get the Triceraton leader that, you know, was using them as pawns, basically puts him as their hostage now and basically tries to get away. This leads into a final shootout with the Triceraton trying to keep Honeycut and the turtles in his area. And yeah, we get a huge shootout, and the main Triceraton, leader gets attacked basically by his own people. It's pretty messed up. Eventually they get cornered, the Ninja Turtles, but before they can get killed by the Triceratons, they actually start getting transported, as well as the Triceratons, back to New York City. And we get this awesome panel where like this huge beam of energy just like shoots to the TCRI building. I guess this is showing that, you know, bringing them back was more harder than, you know, taking them to that planet. At least that's what I get from this panel. And yeah, so basically the Ninja Turtles and Triceratons have arrived back to New York City in the Ultron's TCRI building. And yeah, the Triceratons are not happy that they have been brought to this unknown planet and basically just decide to attack the Ultron. So a whole battle breaks out between Ultrons, between the Triceratons, and between the Ninja Turtles and Honeycut. And yeah, it's a really cool battle scene. We get this huge splash panel with just everyone just fighting it out. A really cool scene. After the battle is won for the Ultrons, they pretty much stun or they kill some Triceratons. I'm not sure. It's not really told to us if they're all dead. Just Donatello states that they're either dead or stunned, all of them. So we never get that clarification. But I guess you can assume they're dead because we would see more of them in the future. You know, there is one exception, but I'm not going to swallow that if you haven't read or if you haven't seen the other videos in the future. So we get to see that Splinter's actually okay, and he's revealed to the Ninja Turtles, and this is where we get the explanation on what happened with Splinter and what exactly are the Ultrons. Are they good guys or bad guys? So this is where the Ultrons reveal that they are actually the ones who created the mutation goo that went on top of the Turtles and Splinter. So it's their invention that they had brought 20 years ago when they came to, you know, kind of check out our planet, that gave birth to the Ninja Turtles and Splinter. So they're kind of like in their debt, basically. And they're not bad. And they said that they're just wanting to see what exactly, you know, they had created. You know, they're seeing their creation in front of them. So overall, they get along with them. They might not see eye to eye with everything, but they pretty much understand that these guys are not out to hurt them or Splinter. So basically, the army finally gets fed up with what might be happening in TCRI, the building, and basically attack it and start storming inside. Now, a battle takes place between the army and the Ultron's little military drones. But the thing that's interesting is that the people that are getting shot on the military side are not getting killed, but just knocked out. So again, this like puts forth the idea that the Ultrons are actually good guys. They're not bad guys. They don't want to hurt anyone. They just want to get back to their home planet. That's why they're creating the translocation device. Finally, at the very end, they activate the self-destruct sequence on the TCRI building, which seems to be like a huge plot point for the Mirage series. It seems like every story arc or story, they always have to use a self-destruct sequence. It's pretty funny. I didn't notice the first time I read through all these stories, but doing this, you know, getting the information I need, the panels and pages, I've been noticing that there is a trend in the last few videos I've been doing that they really do use this plot point a lot. But, you know, it's not bad. Especially for this situation, it makes a lot of sense. So basically, they head into the translocation device and they have to take the risk in going to the Ultron's planet and then having the Ultrons send them back to New York City in an area that they know, you know, like April's home. So basically, they escape And we get to see that April is watching the news, and it's revealed on the news that no one actually died from the military side. There's no Ultrons. They have no idea about them anymore. No one's going to believe the people that say that there's aliens, because there's literally no evidence, because they blew it all up. And yeah, overall, it seems like the whole TCRI crisis is over, as the newscaster says. So this is where April hears something in her bathroom, and it's revealed at the end of the arc that the Ninja Turtles and Splinter were sent back to April's bathroom instead of the living room, which they had promised them. I think it's a really funny line from Raphael saying that he probably shouldn't have kicked that little, alien guy in the face or something like that. Which is funny. He was saying that because the Ultron guy was saying that they would have to go to his planet first, despite saying that he wasn't going to send Ninja Turtles first when they translocated. But it got pretty heated with the military literally on the same floor whenever they were going to translocate. So it makes a lot of sense. And overall, they did get back home, so it all ends good for everyone. Now Honeycutt isn't with them, so I'm assuming that they took him back to his own planet, that or he lives with the Ultrons. Maybe there's a story about that in the future. I'll have to look that up. If there is, I'll definitely want to cover that on the channel. But yeah, and that's the end, guys, of the Fujitoid story arc. Now let's talk about this. The Fujitoid story arc is one of my favorites, period. And it's one of my favorites because of two things: the Fujitoid and the Triceratons. Now the Fujitoid is an interesting character. I really think that the Fujitoid really could have been a main character in TMNT, especially this Mirage series. I think he's a very good comedic character, but not only that, but he would have someone to talk to with Donatello, and to see what they could actually create together would be amazing. And just his interactions with all the rest of the characters, you didn't really get to interact with people like Splinter or April or Casey. It would have been amazing, to see those interactions. So like I said, maybe in the future stories, maybe the Fujitoid does have these interactions with other characters and future stories, but I just don't know about it personally. I think this is the only story he was ever a part in, but I could be wrong with that. If you know, leave a comment down below, that way I can go check those comments out. But yeah, the Fujitoid arc is amazing. It's an arc, like I said, that spans from issues 4 to issue 7. It's a little longer than the Mauser story arc that we had covered yesterday, but at the same time, it's amazing, and it shows that when you put an extra issue or two, how much story you can really tell. Got a lot of information about the Turtles' backstories. We learned about the Triceratons. We learned about the Federation, sorta. We learned about the Fujitoid, and we just made the lore of the TMNT world larger. Now we know there's life on other planets. Who's to say what is out there? And it really opens the door up for tons of story opportunities. But that's going to be it, guys. Like I said, go check out the previous two videos if you haven't already, which is Origins and the Mauser story arc. The next video that's going to be coming out is the Shredder Strikes Back or Shredder Return story arc, which is definitely a fan favorite, so don't miss that video. And yeah, until next time, guys, be sure to leave a like on the video if you want to show me your support. God bless you, and until the next lesson, keep on reading.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react.